I can't get up and speak to an audience. I get terrified, I lose my place, I repeat myself, I just don't know where to go, I don't know what I'm doing. Well, in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you some of the absolute essential things that you have to know so that you can get up and speak wherever, whenever. And it doesn't matter how big the audience is, whether it's just a handful of people in a group setting or whether it's a conference full of important people. And also, it doesn't matter how much time you've got, whether you've got a couple of months to prepare for a keynote, or whether, as has happened to me, someone comes up, taps you on the shoulder and says, "Hey, our keynote's dropped out, can you stand in?" "Oh, okay, how much time have I got?" "Oh, none, we need you now." This happens, and I'm going to show you how you can do this in the next few minutes. What we're talking about today is the 80-20 rule for speakers. The 80-20 rule for speakers. These are essential things that really make the difference. Now, I know there are simply hundreds and hundreds of different things that you have to know and have to do to be a proficient speaker. But if you get these 5 right, it's going to make an ocean of difference to you, and you'll be able to get up and do something that really counts. Remember, what's the goal of a speaker? To influence, to get a message across, to be able to leave people get something from you so that they can leave that session, leave the presentation that you've given and take something away and remember it. I remember about 10 years ago I sat in on one of the most simple presentations I've ever heard. This guy, I can nearly quote what he said word for word back then 10 years ago because the presentation was so good. It was so simple but so structured. And afterwards I went up and had a look at his notes just to see how well he'd prepared for it. And you'll never guess what. On the sheet of paper were just 4 words. That's all he had to do it right. Now let's talk about it. What are the 5 essential things that you really must know so that you can deliver an absolutely astounding presentation? Well, number 1, you have to know why you're there. Know why you're there. Many speakers get up to present without a clear understanding of what they're doing, of what they're going to say, or what their audience wants. And as a result, they appear a little bit jumbled, not quite with the program, and in a worst case the audience might leave saying, "What was that all about?" So you don't want to be doing that. If you're standing up to speak to a problem, then you need to identify the problem, write it out, and keep that in mind all the way through your address. If, for instance, you are asked to give a vote of thanks, then clearly you would know who the recipients are and why they are worthy of that vote of thanks. So understanding what you're there for is absolutely key. Number 2. Know how it affects your audience. This is where you highlight the issue, you reinforce it, you drive it home. If it's a problem, you'd be explaining in some detail how this affects the audience, how relevant it is to them. You know, the what's in it for me thing. If you're giving a vote of thanks, as the other example I'm using today, you would be explaining to people exactly what the recipients have done, what they have meant to the audience, and what a great benefit they've been. Number 3. Know the solution. Now, if it's a complex problem, you may not know all of the solution. You might only know part of it. You might have suggestions how to take people a bit further along on the journey. You're going to be telling people what to do, how to fix the issues. If it's a vote of thanks, you're going to be saying the right things about what a great and worthy recipient Billy Joe is, and so on. Number 4. Number 4, very important. Know how it will work. This is where you're going to validate your solution, and in the case of a problem, you're going to be providing some evidence, perhaps some proof that your solution will work. You're going to be, in effect, providing confidence to your audience, something they can grab hold of and say, yeah, well, that sounds good, I can accept that, it would work. And the same goes if you're giving the vote of thanks, a much simpler exercise. You're going to be telling people what amazing people the recipients are, all the good things they've done, so that people in the audience can identify with them and go, yeah, that's right, I understand that and I agree with you, I believe that. Number 5. Know what to do now. If this was a marketing video, we'd be calling this the call to action. It's what to do. What are the next steps? If you've provided a solution to a problem, then this is what we need to do now, or we need to do this within 3 months, or maybe this should be our goal for the year, or whatever. You're providing a solution and we must do this now. In the case of the vote of thanks, you're going to be saying, okay everyone, on your feet, let's give Billy Joe an absolute standing ovation such as he's never received in his life. It's the call to action. Take action, do something now. As we mentioned earlier, there are hundreds of tips and things which proficient speakers know all about. I'm going to give you a copy of Developing the Speaker Within You. Absolutely free, no obligation. I'll give you the link in just a moment. You can go and download that and read much more about this subject. Thanks very much. I hope you've learned a real lot out of this, and I hope you proceed now to do some absolutely amazing presentations. I know you can do it. I believe in you. I'm Neil Finlay, and this is The Mentor's Diary.